Here is another episode of the Weightlifting Scoop with Travis Cooper and James and
Jared Fleming.
Jared Fleming.
Self-introduction there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Glenn is forgetting the names.
Well, I didn't actually forget Jared's name. That would be pretty bad if I did.
I think you did. You said Travis and James and
I don't think you said Travis.
Looked at
Did
me.
I say Travis?
I don't know.
I think I said Travis.
I think it's just assumed.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know anything that's happening.
We'll forgive you. I'm almost speechless. You got a new pair of shoes today.
I did. It was a great day for me, actually.
Great
yeah,
day.
It
got
was.
some shoes.
I went and looked at several places and ended up finding a pair of Adidas shoes for only $49, which is pretty cool. You know, you don't often get Adidas shoes for that cheap. So I was pretty happy.
Like once every 2 years you get a pair of shoes?
I would say that's pretty accurate, probably, yeah. Every 2 years, maybe a little sooner than that, I don't know. But I pretty much wear shoes until they're fairly worn out.
I wear shoes too.
I wear them till they're fairly worn out. I bet I have less total pairs of shoes per year that I wear than you do.
I wear shoes.
You're avoiding the question.
Well, Jared does have weightlifting shoes too.
Yeah, so
that adds into the...
all of us are guaranteed to have more pairs of shoes than you because we have a pair that we wear normally and then the weightlifting shoes.
We know Glenn. I've had those shoes for a while now, so your 2-year thing might not hold up like you thought it would.
Well, I have weightlifting shoes, and I also have weightlifting shoes that I've had for like 6-7 years, and I still have them.
Well, I think
that I'm going to win here.
I have shoes that are that old, Glenn.
You're reaching. You're reaching.
I don't know, Glenn. All those shoes have your name on it, so theoretically,
I have lots and lots of
a lot of shoes.
So
this is true. I don't have anything to say about that.
You shouldn't have anything to say about
well,
that.
and in California, you had a funny story about how you were at the club gym there. That just had some pools and saunas and stuff, and so you had a membership. And the guy was wearing Pendlay weightlifting shoes, and you go up to him and shake his hand and say, "Hey, how you doing? Nice shoes." And he had no idea who you were, and it was just kind of like a funny...
Yeah, it was kind of funny because he, told me how, he had those weightlifting shoes because he was a really serious lifter and, they were good for, anything you did sitting on your feet. And he held a conversation with me for a while, not knowing that, they were basically my brand of shoes. And I talked to him for, a fair amount of time, not like an hour or anything, but a fair amount of time. And he was totally oblivious to who I was, that my name was on the shoes. But it was kind of funny,
Did you tell him?
No, I never did. I thought about telling him, but the conversation kind of moved on in a different direction, and I ended up leaving without ever telling him.
I would have said, "Yo, those are my shoes, son."
Well, I didn't say that, and I probably wouldn't say that.
But with a southern accent, right? Them's my shoes, boy. That would have been a little more accurate.
That would have been maybe more funny, but
listen
but
here,
no, I
Sonny.
didn't. The funny thing is that I had, like a Pendlay shirt on also, and he never kind of got the connection that I was wearing, and I continued to wear the gym multiple occasions after that, like a shirt that you said Muscle Driver or Pendlay or whatever on it. I don't think he ever really connected the dot to think, hey, why is this guy always wearing these shirts, this brand name that obviously
he must be obsessed with that Glenn
very unique brand name that you don't see everywhere,
Well, if you don't know, you don't know. So he was just in the club gym doing squats, so can't blame him too much.
Not too much.
Speaking of, I'm drinking a Diet Mountain Dew, no aftertaste. It's awesome. Best diet drink on the market.
It's the only.
Does it have caffeine in it?
It's the only diet drink that has dew in it. Saw that on TV the other day.
Does it have caffeine in it though?
Yes.
Just
a little bit. Has 40 milligrams of caffeine per 12 ounces.
I don't like the diet drinks that have caffeine. I really have went through a period where I had trouble going to sleep, and that was one of the things that I cut out of my diet pretty much wholly, is caffeine. And so if I drink Cokes or anything now, I drink caffeine-free. I know that's kind of weenie of me, but I really, especially if I drink any caffeine in the afternoon. It really interferes with my sleep. So,
you know what works good with that?
More training.
Beer.
Water and beer, caffeine free.
Both of those things are caffeine free. That's correct.
Well, you also went to the dentist, so.
Yeah, this has been a big day, or a big weekend for me, basically. I went to the dentist for the first time in a long time. I actually think it was the first time I've been to a dentist since I was 12 or 13 years old in 6th grade. And I know what most people are thinking. They're thinking I must have had a mouthful of cavities and absolutely terrible teeth. But as luck would have it, I feel like I am fairly lucky, but as luck would have it, I must have good genetics for my teeth, because the dentist actually said, your teeth are actually pretty good. I didn't expect to hear that after I hadn't been to a dentist in almost 40 years. But, he had commented that my teeth were pretty good. And I ended up having, he noticed 3 small cavities. He actually did say small cavities. He said these cavities are very small. They're nothing that is anywhere close to causing trouble, or they're anywhere close to hurting or anything like that. But, if you're getting things taken care of, they're things that you might want to take care of now. And so I ended up actually going back a couple of days later, which that just happened yesterday, that I went back and actually got x-rays and got, a more thorough exam. It ended up I actually had 5 cavities, but they were all small, and had 3 of them taken care of yesterday. And now, after Nationals, I have to go back and have 2 more taken care of. But, and then I'll get my teeth cleaned and all that. But, I feel like I was pretty damn lucky in not having dental insurance for the majority of my life, and also not ever going to a dentist for the majority of my life, and not ending up with a bunch of cavities or really any major problems with my teeth. So, yay for me, I guess. The good genetics pays off.
You got a purty mouth.
Yeah.
I want to say that the whole time.
Yeah.
Jared's in quite the mood.
You're yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Well, most people go to the dentist every 6 months, so if you get a small cavity, they put it on watch, and they don't really fix it. But I'm sure this dentist is like, all right, if I don't fix it now, he's not coming back for 30 years, so might as well fix it now.
Yeah, that would be safe to say. I've gone basically 30 years without going to the dentist, so I feel like it'll be a couple of years before I go back. Although I have to tell you, I don't really have terrible memories of the dentist from when I was little. The last time I was at the dentist was probably 12 years old or something like that. Could be 11 years old, but 11 or 12. And I don't have any horror stories from when I was that young. But I have to say that, at the present time, the trip to the dentist yesterday really wasn't that bad. I mean, there wasn't really any undue pain or anything like that. A little bit of discomfort, but very mild discomfort. And it really didn't take forever. It was over very quick. And, it was basically, I missed training yesterday. That was the only thing, It caused me to miss training for one day. I feel like I got off pretty light, missed training for one day, and, it cost me a very modest amount. Because, obviously I didn't go to a dentist for all those years because I didn't have dental insurance. But now that I have dental insurance, I figured it'd be stupid not to take advantage of it. So that's what I was doing, is taking advantage of my insurance. So, that was my couple of days there.
There you go. So now you're ready to rep a brand new sparkly grill at Nationals.
Clean teeth and clean shoes.
Yes. Well, I also got new luggage yesterday.
Oh my God! And
so
luggage?
It's been a banner week.
Hey, look out, ladies! When we come to Nationals, Glenn's all decked out.
Yeah, the new luggage was something that needed to happen.
This makes me question how many shoes you have in your closet.
Only a couple, But the luggage was necessary because Travis and James and I went to the Olympic Training Center before Pan Am's. And my luggage basically fell apart there. I mean, it didn't actually fall apart, but basically during that one trip, pretty much every single frickin' zipper on the luggage broke. And so it became very hard to get it unzipped or zipped or anything,
Let me ask you. So the other day we changed your one-click Amazon settings.
Yes.
Did all these purchases happen on Amazon?
No, they did not.
Okay.
No, they did not. They did not. Although the one-click Amazon settings has been helpful to me. You know, it has been helpful. Yeah. But mainly, the settings on the Amazon thing make it easier, or did make it easier to like buy books or things like that, or computer games or something like that. Which, you know, the other wonderful happening here is that I actually have a pair of glasses now, which, as most of you have known, you know, my eyes aren't really like glasses can't really help my vision because the problem is within the nerves in my eyes and not with the lenses. But actually, by straightening up or fixing the very minor problems with the lenses that I had, or my lenses in my eyes, and seeing just a little better via that, it has actually improved my vision to the point where I am able to read on a Kindle with the font turned fairly, well, I'd say way up, beyond what you would need to have it turned if you had normal vision. But with that adjustment on the Kindle, it has actually allowed me to read, and you know, with glasses to you know, help correct my vision. I was actually allowed me to read a little bit, so that has been a really good development. That has, I think, improved the quality of life quite a bit.
There's a wheel missing on Jared's chair, and he almost fell backwards and had to pull out of Nationals.
Yeah,
on air.
True story. This almost just happened.
We probably would have had to end the episode because he's got his earphones on. He would have taken this whole table with him.
I just barely saved it. Don's in the background. He was busting out laughing if you couldn't hear him.
Well, yeah, so we're at Wednesday now. We're leaving in the morning for Nationals, Salt Lake City. The most expensive plane tickets in the world.
Oh man, yeah, they're crazy.
For a domestic flight, at least. I mean, we probably could have flown to Hawaii for the same price. But anyways, I mean, I'm excited.
Who all is traveling with us? Is that Jared? With Dawn? You're traveling with Dawn?
I thought we were all going.
We're all in the same flight.
Well, I know that, but who else is traveling to the airport with you?
You're going with us. You, okay. Me, Don, Matt Drone, and as far as Rachel. And I think
you guys are gonna have a car full.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, a bunch of big dudes and
I
ladies in a car together.
I call front seat.
You can't call shotgun until you're by the car.
I can though. I can
because you're the oldest.
Well, I think so.
And you have the most gray in your beard.
Don is officially the oldest.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, well, yeah, Don's by far the oldest.
Don's driving, though. He gets an automatic shotgun. What do you call that when you're driving?
Master.
Pilot seat.
Yeah, whatever.
Pilot? You like pilot? Don likes pilot.
Don's the pilot, then.
But yeah, we're
definitely not the pilot because I can't see well enough to drive, so,
We're flying out there, and me and Don wrote a quick article about how to pack for Nationals, so that's something that we could talk about very quickly, because I think that information is pretty helpful, and there's a few things that are not so obvious. So for the athlete, some things that I recommended was a scale and a sauna suit, and some Pedialyte that with, obviously that has to do with making weight and replenishing your fluids after making weight. I would also recommend bringing photo IDs and your USAW ID and your insurance card because, this is a weightlifting meet. This is Nationals, so you're going to go to the limits of your body. I mean, God forbid something happened to you, but if something does happen to you, you need your insurance information. Now, what else did we say that you guys needed?
I wasn't there for the list. Make sure I like to write up a list of all my lifting stuff. Shoes, belt, knee wraps. I even like to bring my lifting straps if I'm doing any pulls in the days leading up, just to make sure I don't tear any calluses.
Did you mention to bring that stuff on the carry-on?
Yeah, we're gonna. So when you talk about your lifting stuff, the actual stuff that you're gonna wear at the competition, please pack that on your carry-on because it's less likely these days that they lose your luggage. But it still happens. Every meet there's somebody who loses their luggage, doesn't get it on time. And I mean, how would you guys feel if you had worn the same shoes for 5-6 years. They didn't get there for the meet, and then all of a sudden you don't have your knee sleeves or shoes on you. I mean, you're not going to adjust the day of the competition to something totally different.
Absolutely. I do the exact same thing. I pack the necessities, singlet, compression shorts, weightlifting shoes, singlet, the necessities that I absolutely have to have, can't get away with competing without, and those go right in my backpack that I carry on my back with me.
It's the way to go. Just always have it with you.
Yeah, I mean, most things are replaceable. You know, any food items, any typical clothing items, any regular shoes, those things are replaceable, so it's not ideal to have to spend the money to replace those things when you get to your destination city, but you can. You cannot replace a pair of weightlifting shoes that you've been wearing for 5 years or a pair of knee sleeves that you've been wearing for over a year. So, that's probably the two biggest things is make sure you carry on your weightlifting competition gear and have your insurance card and photo IDs with you. If you're flying, obviously you're going to have an ID on you. But if you're driving and you're not personally driving the vehicle, you could leave your license at home. So make sure you bring your license and your USAW card. It's a pain in the ass to have to get someone back home to fax a copy and this and that. It's a lot more stress than you want to deal with, trust me.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing for you guys, not that it's ever ideal, don't forget your USA Weightlifting card, but I have seen where people have logged in to their USA Weightlifting account on their smartphone and show them that there's proof that they have an updated membership. So if, God forbid, you forget, that's something to keep in mind. If you can't find a card and you're running down, you're running low on time and you're freaking out, you can log in on your iPhone and prove that you have an up-to-date membership, and that will be suffice. So just keep that in mind if you ever get in a crunch and can't find your card.
Yeah, I mean, I always pull it up on my phone, but at the Arnold, there's no internet or phone service there, so it's actually pretty hard to get that one.
Yeah, so even, as a backup measure, if you're always carrying your phone with you, take a screenshot of it. So if you don't have the hard copy, God forbid something happens, you have it on your phone. That's just being extra careful. So.
Yeah, I think I actually had my original USA weightlifting card, and when it would expire, the one that I printed out is long expired, and they informed me that I should probably print another one. Mine says it expired in 2012, I think, or 2011.
What's your USAW number, Jared, just out of curiosity?
I know, actually, I know it. 135620.
Yeah, what's yours, Glenn?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
170000.
Yeah, isn't that
yours
crazy?
is a tough one to remember.
Yep.
Mine starts with 140.
I don't think that's it, James.
That's it?
Says the guy who doesn't remember his own ID number.
Wait a second. It might be 160000.
I don't know.
No.
I'm looking for mine.
Well, I started a new trend.
Always be prepared.
But when so as a coach, the things that you need to remember are slightly different, but, similar. I would recommend, Glenn found it.
122724.
Glenn's been in the game forever.
Wait, how can you tell? Are you going by the number based?
Yeah, whoever has the lowest number has been in. Don?
3.
Don says he's number 3. I don't believe him, but it's a good joke.
I got my first USAW membership when I was probably in like 1990 or something like that. So, it's been a while.
Wait, Travis, what was yours again?
140.
Wait, so
636, yeah.
Mine's 116762.
116 is Don starts out with, so yeah. It's pretty crazy.
So I wonder what the newest card number is right now.
I don't know, it's definitely over 2 something. It's gotta be.
Damn.
But a lot more people these days. But I always find that interesting when I look at people's USA weightlifting card. That was just for my own sake. But yeah, I mean, as a coach, things to pack for a coach. When you're managing a team, I would recommend taking a copy of everyone's USA weightlifting membership card and their license yourself, just so you don't have to rely on the immature athletes that you are coaching.
You
as Don would call us. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go do that now.
Yeah.
No, but and also have a copy of their insurance because injuries do happen. They're very rare, so you may not need it this meet. Hopefully, you don't need it this meet, but at some point you might. And I mean, if you need to go to the emergency room, that insurance information comes in handy, and that's something that people don't really think about, especially people who are new to managing teams or doing those kind of things.
At least with all senior athletes on this team, we don't have to worry about birth certificates. I remember when I used to coach a lot of junior lifters, they didn't have their driver's licenses yet, having to send along birth certificates. And you would be surprised how many parents would send along the actual frickin' birth certificate and not just a copy. But people do that. Parents do that. And that's always made me nervous when I actually had the person's legitimate actual birth certificate, because what if you lose that? That's going to be a major pain in the ass.
Glenn cleans out his truck and he finds like 3 birth certificates.
That's probably accurate. That's probably happened, actually. That's probably happened.
Wait, you've cleaned your truck before?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
At some point. But yeah, I mean, what other kind of things do you think you would want to have as a coach, Glenn, coaching a big team? I mean, we talked about having maybe like a competition first aid kit with some tape, bandages, ammonia capsules.
Well, yeah, the ammonia capsules, obviously the tape, there's never enough tape. I mean, you can't have too much tape and stuff like that. That's you just can't ever have too much of that. The other thing is snacks, like things to eat, like before or after weigh-in. It seems like someone is always light on that. It's somebody needs a sandwich or needs this or that or the other, or somebody doesn't go to the correct restaurant, or they end up waiting forever to get their food, and need a sandwich or something light to eat. I mean, those are the major things that I would think of.
Don?
Yeah, I mean, that's especially happens to people who have early weigh-ins. They think they're going to be able to get to a restaurant. It's good to, the night before, pack some sort of a sandwich in your stuff to go to weigh-in with, so you can, as soon as you've weighed in, you can start eating. You got 2 hours. Well, probably more, but it could be 2 hours, and you might as well just get food in yourself right away.
So as a coach, I mean, what kind of things would you like to have managing a team? I mean, what kind of things are you going to keep? We talked about the IDs, the insurance cards. Obviously, you want to be prepared with a schedule. And
yeah, sure, you have your schedule, and you want to make sure that you personally recheck the schedule after the tech meeting, because it can change and often does. You want to make sure that you know where the hell you're going, especially if there's a double or triple platform meet and stuff like that.
You actually want to check physically by going to the rooms
right.
that the weightlifting is supposed to be in, because there's always something that changes in a room that you go in the room and the meeting's supposed to be in there and there's nobody there.
Yeah.
There's always something like that is going to happen at almost every big meet. And so you actually want to physically check on those things and not just leave it up to chance.
And Glenn, do you bring, well, of course, we've got a lot of adults here, but do you bring generally athletes out to the competition platform and have them get on the platform and kind of look around before the meet?
If you have somebody that hasn't competed before, hasn't competed on a raised platform before, that can be very helpful. But, with somebody like, say, Travis or James that has competed numerous times on numerous different situations, I don't think that's, absolutely necessary. Yeah. But it's not helpful. I mean, it can't hurt. So it's
some athletes, I found some athletes like to spot something in the back of the room that they might be looking at the day of the meet, when they're on platform that they can focus on rather than the audience or whatever. It doesn't distract them, but, in any case, I think it's good practice.
Well, especially if you're in like a theater type setting.
Right.
A raised platform or sunken.
Lots of spotlights and things.
Yeah. That can really wreak havoc with someone's distance perception.
Sure.
And, if you're not used to that, that can make it very tough for you to have your balance, so to speak. And so having something, check on that during the weigh-in or after the weigh-in.
Yeah, I do that every time. I mean, I think that's real important. Even if you don't get it done until they do the introductions, you can do it right then after they introduce you and you go back there to finish your warm up. Just stand out there for a little bit longer. They usually have the bar out there. Get a feel for the knurling. Get a feel for where you're looking at.
Well, that's something else that you just mentioned that is important. The feel for the knurling.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have one brand of bars that we use constantly. So there's going to be probably a bar out there for the competition that has knurling on it that you've never felt before. Some knurling is really, really stiff or really harsh. Some knurling is really smooth. So it really would help for you to feel the bar in your hand a little bit and get the feel for what it feels like. Is it going to tear your calluses off or is it going to be smooth? At least know what to expect.
Yeah, and just before, if you know a couple days out from the competition when you're, thinking about the competition and you know what to expect, it just becomes more real to you. And Don and myself, we wrote an article. It's the latest blog on the weightliftingscoop.com. So if you go to the weightliftingscoop.com, click on the blog link and then look at the latest blog. It's called Packing for Nationals. It goes into a little detail of each section and, how to pack as an athlete and a coach. And me and Don are going to be doing a quick, 30, 40-minute seminar on Thursday. I think it's at 5 p.m.
Hopefully we get there.
Yeah, and it's to new coaches and athletes, just what to expect for the weekend. Nothing crazy, but, telling you what to pack is not going to help you once you're already there. So we figured we'd put that blog out and talk about it a little bit on here. Maybe some people will hopefully come across this information. So, you guys will hopefully learn a little bit more about what to expect at the event there.
I want to talk about a pet peeve. Okay? And I talk about this in our little handout. We're going to talk about this at the seminar. I know you're making up a handout for the seminar. Two things, or actually three. One, when you get your athletes in the back room, in the warm-up room, you should already know who the medical people are in the room and where they are. It sometimes is not as obvious as you might think. And we're, in some cases we're going to have really crowded back rooms in this meet. The second thing is somebody mentioned calluses, and I like to have pre-made callus tape already cut up and ready that you slide over a finger. I don't know if you should know what that is if you're a coach or an athlete, but sometimes that saves you a lot of time if you have to fix one.
Yeah, so if you just take a long strip of tape and then put a hole right in the middle so it fits around your finger,
right?
And that's pretty much what you
find you can just hang that on the back of a chair somewhere, around, and it's fine. It's just quick to grab rather than have to cut it up when a callus tears or something like that. The other thing, the major thing I want to talk about is when do you go into the warm-up room? It seems like the last couple of big meets, people are filtering into the warm-up rooms way, way before they should. The people that are competing are still in the warm-up room, and now you've got double the bodies in there. Coaches are looking to get platforms, and athletes are looking to put their stuff somewhere. Be a little patient and wait outside the warm-up rooms a little longer. Hopefully they have people there to stop people from coming in, but that doesn't always happen. But wait until, it gets down to the last couple of guys before you start tramping into the warm-up room. Just going to create a lot of problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to add to that. Being an athlete, it is pretty distracting if you're one of the final lifters and you have a crew of people, stampeding in to get ready for the next session, and and you're taking heavy warm-ups, getting ready to go and compete. There's nothing more distracting than having people walking right in front of you. And a lot of times those rooms are pretty crowded to begin with, like Don mentioned. So, just be courteous, you wouldn't want that to happen to your athlete. So just keep that in mind, as you're heading back there to the warm-up room.
So it's going to be an exciting competition, though. There's over 400 competitors again, which is a good and a bad thing. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I think it's awesome because there's going to be a ton of people watching. There's going to be a ton of people competing. But at the same time, certain things become harder. Like, I mean, just even going to check your weight at the check scale, before they get several check scales out. I mean, that's tough. So, and then of course, just in general, there's so many sessions, it's going to run behind. So, expect those things. But, I mean, what are you guys excited to? This is the first time we've had a women's team. So, I think we have a pretty good women's team too, so.
Yeah, I think they're going to do great. I mean, we got a 48, Jess Kinsler, Morgan King is doing 53. Then we jump up to 69, I think, with Ariel Stevens.
Yep.
And then 75, we got Becca and Jordan.
Taylor.
I don't know why I always want to call her Jordan.
I want to call her Jordan.
You know, I called her Jordan once, and I told her, I says, for some reason, I always want to call you Jordan. And then she's like, oh, well, that's my middle name. But
that's kind of spooky, James.
A little spooky.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. Taylor. And then Rachel up at 75 plus.
Yeah. So going in, I mean, a lot of these girls, well, we have Stevie. We missed her at 58.
58, yeah.
She's going to be in the mix for a medal. So, yeah, I mean, this is a lot of these girls. It's their first national competition, but I think overall we have a solid team. A couple of them are going to be ready for medals, I think, and that'll be fun. Of course, Morgan, she's lifting up, so there's a little more competition, but she's still at the top of the start list, and she's a great competitor, so hopefully she can take the title. And I mean, what about the other girls? What are Dawn and Glenn? Do you guys have any comments about their training or what?
Well, I think other than that, I think, obviously we have a lot of people that are in either their first or one of their first national meets. And so that's going to be the whole story, is if people can get in, make their openers, and, make a reasonable amount of lifts, I think a lot of good things are going to happen. But that's going to be the challenge, basically. It's just to overcome the nerves and overcome any negatives, like that, and put lists together.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think we got, literally we got some rookies on the women's team. Mm-hmm. And as far as national kind of meets, and,
very, very, very strong rookies,
but
so
very good ones. Yes, very good ones.
Going to throw them into the mix and see who thrives in competition.
I'll tell you one thing about that. If I was a brand new lifter who happened to have pretty good talent, and I was going to my first big national meet, I'd like it a lot better to be going as part of a team rather than unattached, just getting out there on my own. I tell you, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference even if you're a veteran lifter. But for a first timer, second timer, boy, I tell you what, that's going to help.
Yeah, well, I think that there's always, obviously, coaching helps a lot, but remembering as an athlete myself in a long, long time ago, but there's always a certain amount that you're going to listen to a coach or coaches are going to tell you this or tell you that. You never believe them 100%, when it comes to what the important things are pre-competition and what to worry about, what to look for, etc. There's always a certain amount that you're trying to follow the directions of your coaches, but it sure is a lot better if you have other athletes that are there, to basically show you everything you need to know. So I think that's kind of where the advantage comes in for a big team like this. We have some newer lifters, but then we also have lifters that are old hands like Travis or James or whatever to basically be examples to everyone else. And the girls, basically be examples to everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like that. I mean, these are the people, if you're on a team, that are your friends and you work with them every day and,
help you make weight.
They'll help you make weight. And,
that can be a big thing.
That's a whole lot of difference. A whole lot of difference from a coach.
It's kind of true. We do help each other make weight and do the silly things. And, like at Pan Am's, me and James kind of like went up to the venue and sauna together and stuff. And it makes it a lot easier because you're not, you just know where you're going and it definitely helps. And especially for people who aren't as experienced and maybe, some of these girls have never had to cut weight before. So that certainly helps. Well, which do you guys have any women's sessions that you guys are specifically interested in watching?
I think that the two that I'll be most interested in watching really has nothing to do with good competition for the meet. But I think Stevie's session and also Rachel's are both to be really interesting because both of them are relatively new lifters that could do relatively well.
Yeah, when I look at the start list, I mean, the 58s, it's extremely close. Stevie is in the mix, but there is 7 girls in the mix for 3 medals. So it's totally a coin toss, and, you know, like you said, it comes down to making lifts. So, you know, I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch and see her compete.
Well, there's going to be a lot of that at nationals to begin with. A lot of things that are going to be up to how people perform in the day, even up to the team title. You know, it's just all going to boil down to who performs on the day, and that's exciting. That makes it exciting for a meet.
Yeah, I am looking forward to every weight class that lifts after me. I think that's something that we may have skipped over, is that if you go to one of these big national meets, especially if it's your first one, and you, let's say you're lifting on Saturday, and then you go in on Friday and you watch all of these sessions and you watch some more on Saturday morning, you just get so emotionally invested, even if you don't know the people lifting. Like if somebody misses an attempt and comes back and makes it, I mean, you're getting a little bit too much into the meet, and you're almost losing a little bit of the excitement that you could have for when you're actually lifting. So just be careful with how much weightlifting you watch if you're competing later.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, I probably won't be able to watch Stevie's session as much as I would like to. But, yeah, I mean, that should be an awesome one, and that's definitely something me and Don are going to cover.
Jared, how much lifting do you usually watch before you lift?
I really try to chill out and spend a lot of time just, you know, in my room relaxing. I'll come down for maybe, let's see, I compete on Sunday, so Friday, I'll be around. I'll lift at some point on Friday, so I'll probably spend maybe, 2 hours, between, before I lift and after I lift, a total of about 2 hours or so, just, chilling out. And then I'll have Sunday and I may spend an hour around the venue, and then I'll be MIA for the rest of the day, in my room, just trying to relax. I've been doing this for a long time, and that's one thing. I made a few mistakes when I was younger, sitting around watching too much lifting and being wiped out by the time I competed. So I really try to just chill out and wait to have my social time until after I compete and just rest up before.
I think it was in Venezuela at Pan Am's. It was Travis and you, Jared, rooming together.
Yeah.
And both of you are very, kind of
both of you gave me heart attacks, basically.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know where they were.
Well, sleep oriented.
Just sleep oriented. So
sleep oriented is a good way of putting that.
Yeah, everybody was getting up and going to training, and they're like, "Where are Jared and Travis?" It's like 1 in the afternoon, and we're both still sleeping.
Oh, they must have taken one of those taxis they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they pretty much were non-existent until after they lifted. And, well, for me personally, I flew out before that, so I didn't even get to see them there.
Yeah.
So I didn't even see them the whole week I was there, pretty much.
They weren't around much.
I
think that's, there wasn't much to be seen of either one of them.
Yeah. And, yeah, I think that's a good thing. I like to sleep in, so.
I don't think you even, Jared, I don't think you even really, I didn't even see you on the morning that you did lift too much. I think you went over to that parking lot that we were supposed to train in or warm up in, after I left.
I don't even remember. It was a mess.
Yeah. It was a mess.
Yeah, that was rough.
You didn't get up on time.
So I think there's actually a lot more girls at this meet. Just scrolling through the start list, I mean, there's 50, 58s, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
I think there are D sessions in some classes, aren't there?
Yeah.
The 58s.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Well, on the guys' side, it seems like, there's a couple weight classes that are fluttered. I see 38 in one weight class.
69s.
Yeah, 69s is pretty big. But that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, there a couple of these girls' weight classes are just insane, the amount of people that signed up, which is great, but it's definitely going to be a little bit of a circus at some point.
Somebody's going to make some money off that meat.
Somebody will.
Yeah.
Probably not me.
So, I mean, on to
It's
the
gonna be
guys,
me.
I guess.
You're going to do it?
So the guys, most of the guys on the team have been on the team for a long time, and Jared is new to the team, but he's been lifting for 10 years, so there's really not too much uncertainty about the guys' team, at least. Obviously people can go in and out of shape, and so there's a little bit, but we all know who performs well and what openers typically people are comfortable with, so I think at this point it's just execution, going in and having some fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. One thing I want to point out, just as I mentioned here, for those of you who are cutting weight, and this was a mistake that I made last year at Venezuela at Pan Am's. So after dehydrating, make sure that before you eat anything or consume calories, make sure that you rehydrate first. So water, Pedialyte, Gatorade, things of those nature to replenish your electrolytes and whatnot. That needs to come first before you eat or anything like that. I made the mistake of drinking some Boost, which is just a meal replacement, before I hydrated, and I ended up getting really sick. And I think that was really contributed to why I bombed out last year, because I was pretty dehydrated and consumed the calories before I tried to replenish the electrolytes and got real sick. So just to save you guys the headache of that, make sure you hydrate first before you try to eat or recoup all those calories.
Yeah, and if you're going to go the Pedialyte avenue, remember that it's in the baby section.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually not in the supplements, which is where I typically try to look, but at this point I know that. But
And for those of you who have never tried Pedialyte, it's best if you get it cold first. So buy it the night before, throw it in the fridge, because if you try to drink it at room temperature, it tastes pretty nasty. So
Everyone has their own opinion.
you like it warm?
Oh, man, I like that stuff any which way. After weight, I'm so thirsty, and then that stuff, just after, being dehydrated, it's just so wonderful just to have all those electrolytes. I don't care if it's hot or cold, or it's wonderful.
Always looking for
that
sponsors.
thick stuff.
Yeah. We actually are sitting next to a couple bottles of Pedialyte. James had an advertisement for them.
No, CVS, what do they call it? Pediatric
drink.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's who I'm
yeah.
sponsored by. No.
Let me ask: Do you guys cut that with water, or do you take it just regular?
I just drink
I
it.
just drink it straight.
Drink
Yeah.
it
Drink it straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a man.
Like a man with a
Like a
4-inch
man who
beard.
needs rehydration.
So I got a
really thirsty.
So I got a question for you, Travis and James. What do you now? All three of us have had to cut pretty extensively at one time or another in our careers, and I wanted to ask you guys, when you cut weight, when you dehydrate, do you prefer to do it the night before or the morning of, or depending on when you compete? What is your guys' opinion on that? Just so everybody can kind of hear when we cut weight and how we do it.
I guess I'll start. I like to go as close to the meet as possible. Now, if I'm lifting at 9 o'clock in the morning, you got to do a little bit the night before. I do like to wake up early anyway, just to be awake for a couple hours, like 5 hours or so before I lift. So I'd wake up early anyway, but I like taking salt baths at night and still drinking water throughout the night, and then go really hard with the sauna and the sauna suit in the morning.
Yeah, same thing, but, given that we're lifting in the morning, depending on my weight as the night before, like at Pan Am's a couple times, I lifted very early in the morning, so I have no choice. I can't cut weight throughout the day because I'm lifting first thing when I wake up. So if I lift really early in the morning, I'll try to get pretty close to weight the night before, but if I lift later on in the day, I like to do it the day of, because you don't want to be dehydrated that long. You don't want your body searching for water that long. But I know, Jared, you typically lift in the mornings, so.
Yeah. So usually being a 94, we would compete on Sunday morning or occasionally Saturday nights. But if like University Nationals last year, I competed at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. It was real early, so we weighed in at 5 or 6 a.m., and there was no way I was getting up at 4 in the morning to check weight, cut weight. So I cutted before I went to bed, got up and I cut weight before,
I cut the weight.
Yeah. I cut weight before, and then got up a little early to make sure that, I was solid and was going to make weight. But I'm competing at, weigh in at 1, lift at 3, so probably won't cut the night before, unless I'm extremely overweight, which I'm not even at this point. So I would, if I had anything to lose, I would probably go ahead and do it in the morning as opposed to night. I think the big thing is, when you compete the next day and not being dehydrated too long.
Yeah. And if possible, I like to treat my my cut and sauna like a morning workout. So try to get it like 4 to 5 hours before you actually lift, which starting 2 to 3 hours before you weigh in. I think that's a good thing, especially if you do 2-a-days and you can be, well, I guess not a whole lot of people do twice a day training, but treat it like that. Keep it somewhat of a rhythm with your body.
Yeah, I agree, because it is fatiguing cutting that weight. If you do that, if you cut a kilo or more within an hour of when you compete, within 2 hours to an hour before you compete, that's pretty fatiguing to your body. I think that's James has a good point. Do that like it was a morning workout. Do it early, so that way you have time to get all the fluids back and relax before you actually compete.
So I mean, just looking at the start list, I think both of our weight classes, so Jared in the 94s and then me and James in the 77s, I think those are going to be the weight classes to watch. And I'm not saying that because we're in those weight classes. It's just there's so many people in there. So I think it'll be fun for us to all get out there, and it's almost like a Pan Am start list in both of those weight classes, honestly. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, 324 from Travis. Chad Vaughn has his best total posted at 333, although I think he's putting 310 in. I think I put 311 in. Then after that is 304 is
you got
Adam
Bateman and Service. So I mean, there's some other lifters too. Down the start list, I think from top to bottom of the A session is very competitive. I mean, you look at the 94s, you got several Olympians, you got Kendrick and Norick, and then of course Jared, you're the previous national champion.
Yeah.
And D'Angelo's been coming up strong. So I mean, top to bottom, that one is I mean, that's by far going to be the strongest the 94s have been in years and years. Ever, really. I mean, we've had a couple of of years where someone had a blowout and had a great total, but never top to bottom have you had this many people at the 350 range plus. So
someone had asked me what the session to watch is, and I said 94s. I think that'll be the best one of the men's.
Yeah, that's a incredibly deep weight class right now, that's for sure. We'll have to see where everything lands, but there's going to be several attempts at the American record snatch in that class, I'm pretty sure. It's going to be a very interesting class to watch.
Yeah. So it's always fun to be in the middle of a battle. I mean, it's fun to have the prospect of being able to blow out your competition, but that's not challenging. So I think our weight classes are going to be extremely challenging, and I guess it'll be fun for the fans to watch. So hopefully we can do our best and make some big lifts, and I'm definitely excited about it. You guys got anything before we go train?
Trying to train.
Good movie to watch, especially if you're thinking of going down there to Rio to watch the Olympics, is City of God.
City of God.
Yeah, it's about a little...
I don't plan on going to Rio to watch the Olympics or watching that movie.
Well, damn. Debbie Downer today.
Well,
well, screw you. I'm going home.
What, they make your shoes too dirty?
No.
Yeah, his new shoes. He's still going to have the same pair of shoes then.
Glenn must have a toothache. That's why he's acting this way.
My teeth are fine.
All right, guys. Well, we will talk to you after Nationals and let you know how it goes. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.